Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is my review for Shameless, Season 5, Episode 4, A Night to Remember, Wait, What? That was the title of the episode, and, I know that half of you probably didn't watch the episode. You're all focusing on the Super Bowl, and I watched some of the Super Bowl. I thought it was a good game overall. Not really too much to say about the Super Bowl. The Patriots won. Not happy about that. I wish the Seahawks would have won, but whatever. I don't really care about the Super Bowl. Let's talk about Shameless. This was probably my least favorite episode of the season, only because it was the first episode of the season where I wasn't into every single plot. I wasn't really into Frank's plot tonight. I thought it was boring. It was kind of disappointing what they did with Frank, because I was really expecting for them to get more in depth with where Frank was going to live next, who he was going to live near, if his family was going to take him back, and we didn't see that. It looks like next week we're getting that, but this week we did not see that, and I was kind of disappointed by that, because I wanted to see more of that, and what it focused on this week kind of just seemed like typical old Frank storylines that I didn't really care about, because here's the thing with the show that I always hate is that when Frank has these kind of storylines, I'm never invested. It turns me off. It's boring. It's not interesting. His storyline this episode was kind of boring. I did like the way it started, though. I definitely enjoyed that, because he wakes up hungover. It kind of goes back to early Shameless, when Frank would wake up in random places. He really shows that Frank is going back to his old ways now, because he wakes up hungover on the day he's supposed to receive his insurance check for over $120,000 for having Carl break his leg, and he goes to collect the check only to discover that he already got it the day before. So basically, he wants to find the funds he accidentally spent, and it's hard, as is often the case lately, not to feel that Frank is taking, screen time from characters we actually want to see. The caper ends when Frank learns that he blew his whole wad on prosthetics for child amputees, and it's tempting to feel frustrated that Frank didn't hold on to the money, but I really just did not care about this plot. I honestly just didn't. He's trying to find his fortune and everything, and I just did not really care about this plot as much as I wanted to. Carl ends up helping him out here. I didn't really care. Carl apparently is a drug dealer now. I didn't really care too much about that. That was just kind of boring to me. I just didn't really care, and that's really all I have to say about that. Other than that, everything else I really liked in the episode. I just briefly want to talk about that. Didn't really care too much about Frank's plot, but I really want to get into Fiona, because what the hell happened with Fiona in this episode? What Fiona did in this episode is absolutely insane. I mean, A Night to Remember, Wait, What? Is a perfect title, because literally, here's my reaction. What? Are you kidding me? Like, I thought last week with Debbie was crazy. This is by far one of the most irrational decisions Fiona's made. It really seems like this season is about irrational decisions and things that, we never thought the characters would do. I mean, they've really taken all the characters to a whole new level. This episode was, pretty crazy, definitely. Pretty crazy with her plot and everything, because of course it focused on her relationship with Gus. Now, I gotta say this, I like Gus, I think he's a good guy. Do I like him more than Sean? Yeah, I actually do. I think Sean, honestly, they're friends. They have that chemistry there, but I think with Sean, he likes her, she doesn't like him. He's gonna end up friend zone, and she really did friend zone him at this point. There's a scene in this episode where she pretty much does friend zone him, and you can see that they are definitely getting very, very close in this episode, because basically, it reminds us that Fiona, what ended up happening. Gus is really talented, and he's really kind and everything, and I really did love when Gus played the guitar for Fiona last week, and they shared their first kiss. I really liked that last week, but she had to go and ruin it, basically, because even when she thinks she's making good choices, she ends up completely ruining it. That's always happens with Fiona. She always thinks she's making good choices, and then she fucks up somehow. It's not as crazy as what she did last year with the whole drug thing. It's not as crazy, but she still did something pretty crazy, because her and Gus confesses that he is in love with her, and that he really does love her, and Fiona, it seems like she really does love him too, and they end up having sex, and she calls in Sean, telling him that she's not going to come in for work and everything. And they start talking about a future together, and, basically, I thought that what they were going to talk about was that, if they continue this thing, are they going to stay together? I thought that's really what it was all about. But it's not about that, because what ends up happening is that we go to the restaurant, and Fiona and Gus got married. They got married, and she just met the guy. She literally just met the guy, and they now have gotten married. And just, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened. That is extremely insane that these two just got married. Now, this is not going to end well. Now, what I'm hoping is that, I mean, you can definitely see that Sean is very jealous. Sean thinks that she was kidding. He thinks that she was kidding about it. And it seemed like it was going to be endgame between the two of them. It really seemed like they were trying to get Sean and Fiona together. But now we have Fiona and Gus. And basically, here's what I'm thinking. I mean, the end of the episode, she gets a call from Debbie, who I'll talk about Debbie's plot in a second, but she doesn't tell Debbie what happened, and it's kind of interesting because Debbie is hiding this huge secret from her, and she's hiding this huge secret from Debbie. So definitely she needs to come clean. None of her family knows about this. Nobody knows about this. They eloped, and basically we see her go into Gus's apartment, and she's just thinking, what the hell did I just do? And honestly, Fiona has every right to think that, because she should be thinking, what the hell did she just do? Because what the hell did she just do? Honestly, what the hell did Fiona just do? Fiona probably just made the most irrational decision of her life. She doesn't make rational decisions. As I've said, Fiona's not a rational person. One of the things I definitely want to say, though, that I like that they did with this is that I think that these two do genuinely love each other. I think they do. And honestly, if they want to make this a whole, like, let's just be friends scenario, you know, that sort of thing, where they, not really a let's be friends thing, but like, if they want to like get a divorce and see like, okay, maybe we can't get married, but we can still be a couple, I'm fine with that. I think that just, they need to not be married, because she just met the guy. It's way too early for them to start a they haven't even really started a relationship yet, and already they're married. So this is not going to end well for Fiona. But the other thing is, Jimmy still has to come back into the picture. And, you know, definitely Jimmy is going to come back in the picture somehow, because we know there's a scene that we seen in the promo where, I mean, not this promo, but the promo for season 5, where we see Jimmy back and Fiona sees Jimmy. So I'm wondering when that's going to come into play. And it's too bad, because I really like Gus, and now Fiona just ruined it. So I don't know how this is going to end, but I don't think it's going to end well. But hopefully maybe they can work something out. I don't know. We'll see. But let's get into Debbie in this episode, because it was very interesting seeing where Debbie would go in this episode, because of course what happened in the last episode. Debbie in this episode, again, Debbie, basically, Fiona and her are talking about what she should do now if she has, you know, if her and Maddie have sex again, what should she do? Because she, you know, Fiona's worried that now that she's had sex with Maddie, that's going to lead to more sex, and Fiona suggests that she should go on the pill and everything, and Debbie is not really sure about that. She's not sure if she's ready for that, and of course, she's still not telling Fiona what really happened with Maddie, and, basically, she runs into her ex-friends, I should say, you know, her ex-friends, because they were her friends. They were never really her friends. She thought they were friends, but this episode confirms that they were never friends. Holly calls Debbie out on, basically, she found out that Debbie somehow statutory raped Maddie. I mean, she somehow found out about it, and I'm like, oh my god, like, Holly's such a bitch. She's such a bitch, and just the pain that made Debbie go through, it's just terrible what she did. I mean, I understand why Holly did this, because, I mean, Holly is completely against now. She abandoned Debbie and everything, and Debbie doesn't care about her, so she's not going to care about Debbie, really, and Debbie goes full-on out on her. She punches her in the face, including a 4-on-1 fight that Debbie can't win, and, you know, I was surprised by how crazy it got here, and this guy comes to her rescue, and this guy's name is Derek, and he seems like he actually is really into her, and I like that about his character. My worry with his character was that I was afraid that she was going to end up having sex with him, because she was getting addicted to sex. Because, you know, Debbie's always wanted to have sex, and I was worried that now she had it, she was going to get addicted to it, and, you know, I thought that's what was going to happen here. It's like she was going to get addicted to and have sex with this guy, but she didn't have sex with him, and I was happy about that. But also, I was thinking this is totally going to end up like Season 4, Episode 12, and there was that guy that seemed like he liked her, and then humiliated her in front of the entire school. So I was worried that was going to happen again, but this guy seemed like he genuinely cared about her, and what I like about this guy is that he's very different from any other guy that Debbie's ever been with, because this guy is, at first seems like he likes her, but then he tells her that she basically needs to stop, you know, starting fights, and if she really wants to start a fight, she needs to learn how to fight, and she sees that he's wearing a shirt with a gym logo on it. So she tracks him down, decides that she wants to work at his gym and basically get into shape and, be more ready for fights. But really, she's doing this to get closer to him. We know how Debbie is. She's very stalkerish. This is how Debbie works and everything. And she really just wants to spend more time with him. And I really like these two together. I do like this guy. I think he's good for Debbie. I think he's going to hold her back a little bit, definitely, and I like that about him. The thing about Maddie, though, is that, the thing with Maddie, they're not going to have sex anytime soon because Maddie said he wanted nothing to do with her. And of course, he wasn't upset with her because because of her raping him. He's upset because he could go to jail for it. That's why he's upset about it. So definitely he's going to try to avoid her as much as he can. And I don't blame him for trying to avoid her. But it seems like he's going to try to avoid her and it's not going to end up well there. But we'll see what happens. And I like these two guys. I like Debbie and Derek. And Debbie tells Fiona she does not want to go on the pill because it's not good for her training. And one of the scenes I'm most looking forward to is just seeing the confrontation between Fiona and Debbie. When Fiona tells Debbie she got married, Debbie needs to tell Fiona after that what really happened with Maddie. Because if Fiona's honest with her, she should be honest, with Fiona. That's just how it should be. And I just feel like, they need to be honest with each other. They've always had a great relationship, and I want that relationship to stick, definitely. I like seeing that. I thought that was very well done, and I really like Debbie's plot in this episode. Now, let's get into Lip's plot, because I really like what they did with Lip in this episode as well. It was very, very good stuff, because Amanda's back in the picture, and Lip is walking into somebody else. He barely makes that construction site alive. He decides to bail on the job with Tommy and take Amanda up on her offer to visit her in Miami. And, he really misses Amanda and everything. And I like seeing Amanda in this episode because, honestly, if I had to choose between Mandy or Amanda, I'd choose Amanda because she's much more focused. She's much more responsible. She's good for Lip because she's turning Lip into a much more responsible person. And we see in this episode how responsible Lip has really become, and I really like seeing that. And Amanda's home is just perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And Lip is not used to this at all because think of what their home looks like. Their home is full of trash, and Amanda's home is like a mansion. It's beautiful, and last time Lip saw Amanda's parents, they were offering him $10,000 to never see her again. So naturally, the first thing her father does is ask for his money back. And it feels like there's no way for Lip is going to make it through the visit without some sort of fight going on. But things take a big turn when they actually realize what actually ends up happening. And, Lip's very worried of what's going to happen. Amanda introduced him to her family. All of her family is very polite and very respectful. And they're sort of like, I don't want to say rich, but they're sort of like much more professional, and they're not like the Gallaghers at all. So Lip really does not feel comfortable here. He really does not feel like he wants to be here. Amanda's doing whatever she can to, this really was just Amanda's attempt to have sex with Lip. That really was what she wanted to do, was just get him there so she could have sex with him. But what ends up happening that I actually really enjoyed seeing is Lip and Amanda's father actually getting this very good conversation, because Amanda's father asks Lip what he really wants to do in life. And he talks about how he wants to be an engineer, and it turns out that basically her father really has a passion for that as well. So he recruits Lip and introduces him to engineering, and basically by the night's end, Lip has promised the future of a future paid internship and the opinion of a very successful man who's saying he has, a very successful career ahead of him. And it definitely seems like Lip's on a very good journey. I really like what they're doing with Lip's character. While everyone else is kind of going through a down spiral, Lip is going up and up. Like, Lip is, skyrocketing. His career is skyrocketing. I love what they did with Lip in this episode. And I really want to see more scenes with Amanda's father and Lip, because I never expected for those two to really get along. It was really cool to see that the two of them get along. And I really want to see what Lip plans to do with engineering. This could be a very good storyline for him. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing where they go with this, because I think it could be very well done. Hopefully they handle this well, because I think it could be just a very, very well done storyline. I'm really looking forward to this. But I definitely really enjoyed what they did with Lip tonight. Thought it was very well done, and that was definitely very, very good. So I really like what they did there. Now let's get to Ian. Ian and Mickey and Svetlana is just getting crazy, because Ian is still continuing to spiral further out of control, and he's still, obsessed with cleaning, obsessed with things like that. There's literally a scene where he's vacuuming while Mickey's sleeping, and Mickey's like, what are you doing? And not only is Mickey getting concerned, Svetlana's starting to get concerned. They're both very concerned, And it remains to be seen what they're going to do, though, because Mickey still has no intention of bringing him to a therapist. And again, as I said, this is totally the effects of what's happened. What I do like, though, is that Mickey is not yelling at Lip. He's not mad at him. I mean, not Lip, Ian. He's not yelling at Ian. He's not mad at him. He simply is just trying to tolerate him. He's telling him that that he has a problem. He's accepting it as a problem, and I like that about Mickey. Mickey's a very nice guy. He's good for Ian. And I don't want their relationship to end because I really do like those two together. I mean, they're in a very good place now, and I feel they're going to be in a good place. But I just feel that, Mickey needs to do what Fiona and Lip wanted him to essentially do. He needs to get Ian that help, and Ian's not getting that help, and he needs to get Ian that help because Ian has to go to a therapist and get over this bipolar, which honestly I don't think is bipolar. I think it's OCD, because if he was bipolar he would not be obsessed with cleaning, and he's like so obsessed with cleaning. I think he got it, I don't know if he got it from like Sheila or something, but Ian definitely has OCD. I don't think he's just bipolar. I think it's a mix of bipolar and OCD, and definitely Mickey needs to get him that help, and I really hope that Mickey does, because this is going to end up very, very bad for them. But I really like where they're going with Ian. It's very well done, and I like that it's not like, oh, the relationship's going to end. I like that. No. It's just that Mickey is trying to tolerate him, and it's getting harder and harder for that to happen. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what's going to happen there. I definitely feel like soon he's going to get Ian that help. He just has to. If he wants the relationship to work, he has no choice but to do that. And finally, we're going to talk about V and Kev, which was very funny as usual, what happened with V and Kev. I mean, Kev still is a very supportive father. He wants to be there for Gemma and Amy. He wants to, support them and everything. And he ends up canceling a date with... This is how obsessed he is with being a father. He literally cancels a dinner date with V, who she is pissed about this. She is so pissed about this because she really wanted them to have a nice date together, but he's concerned because he doesn't want Gemma and Amy to have a babysitter. He's worried that they're not going to be able to handle them, and she is desperate for this to happen. I mean, she's totally horny. She wants to have sex, and she's so, she's so horny that she goes to this club basically with Fiona, and she ends up having a random orgasm on this guy for like a few seconds, and it doesn't even take her a few seconds for it to happen. And that's how much she wants to have sex with Kev, and Kev does not want to have sex with her. And it's really funny the way that Kev reacted to it. He's like, well, what happened? Was it just like, was it like you had actual sex? Was it an actual orgasm? I thought that was a really funny scene, because what I like about V and Kev is that it's not really dramatic. It's funny because, I mean, I'm not saying she's not a supportive mother. It's just she really misses having that relationship with Kev. I mean, think of how intimate they used to be. Before they had kids, those two would go out all the time. They really would. Almost every time you saw them, they were trying to have sex and things like that. And V misses it. She misses that. And that's one of the things that you miss when you're a parent. I wouldn't know personally, of course, because I'm not, because I'm a 16-year-old boy, so I wouldn't know. But, but I know that when you have kids, that's one of the things you have to give up is your sex life, and that's really hard for V, and she really doesn't want to do that. And you can see that Kev is just so obsessed with Gemma and Amy that he's not really concerned about that, and I like seeing that as well. But overall, guys, it's everything that happened in the episode. Now, let me talk about this episode overall. I thought this was another really good episode. I just didn't really care about Frank's plot. Next week looks amazing, though, because it looks like Frank is going to try to move back in with the Gallaghers, but they're not going to want him back. I know Fiona's going to confess to the rest of the Gallagher family why she married Gus. I mean, I am really looking forward to seeing how the family's going to react. They're probably going to be like, what are you going to do? What are you doing? Because, I mean, she literally just met the guy, and now she's married to him. I have no idea why she did this, but we'll have to see what happens there. I definitely don't feel like it's going to end well for them. Lip, I am very interested in seeing where this goes with Lip, because I really like what they did with Lip in this episode. He's really becoming very successful. Lip is very slowly becoming probably my favorite character. I'm really enjoying his character this season, and he's so responsible, and I just really love that about his character. Debbie, I really love this guy, Derek and Debbie. I think he's perfect for Debbie because he's really gonna, change her up a little bit. I think that he's, Debbie needs someone like Derek. I really do like him overall, and I'm interested in seeing what they end up doing with him. Ian, as I said, Mickey and Svetlana definitely need to decide what they want to do with Ian. They need to get him this help. They don't want to get him the help, and I understand why, but they need to do whatever they can and get him this help, because he needs to get help. Seriously, he needs to get the help. And I don't really care that Carl's a drug dealer now. I don't care about that. V and Kev, I guess they're going to have to, have some sort of sexual relation, figure out what they want to do with that. I don't know what else is to say there. But overall, guys, that's it for my review of the episode. Overall, as I said, least favorite episode of the season. I didn't really care about Frank's storyline, but that's it for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys saw this episode. If you guys want to talk about the Super Bowl, go ahead, but I'm not talking about the Super Bowl on this video. I'm not doing a Super Bowl video in general, but you guys can see that I tweet about the Super Bowl if you guys care about that. And I'll see you guys in my next video, which will probably be for a musical review, because I don't have school tomorrow because there's a snow day, so I'll be able to watch my musicals tomorrow, and I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.